Welcome to Badasses. I'm your host, Kai Armstrong. Today on Badasses, have you ever felt trapped by your own success? Today, we unravel the story of a global icon who risked it all, battling inner demons and external pressures to reclaim his authentic self, and the lessons you can learn from his journey to do the same. The spotlight fades. The roar of 50,000 fans becomes a distant echo. In a quiet backstage room, Bad Bunny stares at his reflection, fingers tracing the smeared makeup on his face. His painted nails catch the light. A single tear rolls down his cheek, unnoticed by the world outside. This isn't just another post-show moment. This is the untold story of a war between authenticity and expectation, fought in the heart of one of music's most groundbreaking artists. You might think you know Bad Bunny's story, the chart-topping hits, the sold-out stadiums, the glittering facade of global superstardom. But beneath the surface lies a more profound truth, the story of a boy from Vega Baja, Puerto Rico, who dared to challenge everything his culture told him a Latin music star should be. Picture a modest home in Vega Baja, where salsa rhythms pulse through thin walls and the aroma of his mother's cooking fills the air. Young Benito Antonio Martinez Arcasio stands in front of his bedroom mirror, experimenting with clothes that don't quite fit the mold. His father, a truck driver steeped in traditional masculinity, watches with uncertainty. His mother, an English teacher, sees something different, a spark of artistic rebellion that refuses to be dimmed. The church choir becomes his first stage, but even there, something sets him apart. While others conform, Benito's voice carries an edge of defiance. In the privacy of his bedroom, he creates beats that blend reggaeton's raw energy with something entirely new. The local kids mark his fashion choices, his sensitivity, his difference. But in that difference, a unique artistic voice begins to emerge. When Dials hit SoundCloud in 2016, it's like a match striking dry timber. The song spreads rapidly, but so does the backlash. Traditional reggaeton artists and fans attack not just his music, but his entire persona. His painted nails, his fluid fashion choices, his willingness to speak about mental health. They call him a betrayal of the genre's roots, but what they see as weakness becomes his greatest strength. Success arrives like a tidal wave, but with it comes an unexpected darkness. Between explosive performances and screaming crowds, Bad Bunny finds himself increasingly alone in anonymous hotel rooms. The weight of representation bears down heavily. He's no longer just making music. He's become a symbol for every outsider, every rebel, every person who's ever felt different in a world demanding conformity. You see him using his platform to speak against corruption in Puerto Rico, to advocate for LGBTQ+ rights, to challenge toxic masculinity in Latin culture. Each stance brings both praise and condemnation. The pressure builds, the spotlight burns brighter. And in those quiet moments after the show, when the makeup comes off and the costume is shed, the real battle begins. His family notices first, the subtle withdrawal, the growing silence, the way fame seems to be consuming him from the inside out. They see what the cameras miss, a young man struggling to balance global stardom with personal authenticity, fighting to remain true to himself while carrying the hopes and expectations of millions. If you're enjoying Badasses, please like, subscribe, and scan the QR code for our free 7-day email course, The Mental Fortitude Challenge. Explode your confidence by channeling strategies from Roosevelt, Bruce Lee, and more. Now back to the episode. The collaboration with Cardi B on I Like It launches him into the stratosphere of global stardom. He becomes the first non-English language artist to top Spotify's global streaming charts for 3 consecutive years. The world embraces his music, but few understand the toll of his artistic choices. Each boundary he pushes, whether through fashion, lyrics, or public statements, comes with a cost. The admission sends shockwaves through an industry built on projecting strength. But in that vulnerability, something powerful emerges: permission for others to acknowledge their own struggles. The pressure reaches a crescendo in late 2023. The constant scrutiny, the endless demands, the exhaustion of maintaining a public persona while fighting private battles, it all becomes too much. Bad Bunny does the unthinkable in an industry that never stops. He steps back, takes time to breathe, to remember who he is beneath the glitter and fame. Critics call it career suicide. Fans worry it's the end. But in this pause, he finds something more valuable than chart positions: clarity. The very qualities that made him an outsider, his sensitivity, his willingness to be different, his refusal to conform, have become his greatest strengths. When he returns, it's with Debai Tura Mas Photos, an album that doesn't just push musical boundaries, but speaks directly to Puerto Rico's struggles with colonialism and gentrification. The painted nails remain, the gender-fluid fashion choices continue, but now they're worn not as acts of rebellion, but as statements of truth. His influence extends far beyond music. Young men in Latin communities begin questioning toxic masculinity. LGBTQ+ youth find courage in his example. His success proves that authenticity isn't just personally fulfilling, it can change culture itself. Looking at Bad Bunny today, you might see just another global superstar, but look closer. See the boy from Vega Baja who refused to dim his light, the artist who turned his oddness into a movement, the man who showed that true strength lies not in conformity, but in the courage to be uniquely yourself. This isn't just his story, it's a challenge to you. What parts of yourself have you hidden away, afraid they're too different, too strange, too much for the world to handle? What might happen if, like Bad Bunny, you chose to make those differences your strength? The tear that rolled down his cheek backstage wasn't a sign of weakness. It was proof of something far more powerful, that even at the height of fame, even under the brightest lights, you can remain true to yourself. That your vulnerability, your uniqueness, your refusal to conform, these aren't obstacles to overcome. They're the very things that might change the world. The question isn't whether you can reach Bad Bunny's level of fame. It's whether you can match his level of courage. In a world desperate for authenticity, can you dare to be as uniquely, unapologetically yourself as a boy from Puerto Rico who refused to let anyone else define him? That's the real rebellion, and it starts with you. On the next episode of Badasses, Bad Bunny showed us the power of staying true to your roots, even as the world tries to mold you. But what happens when the very definition of true changes? Imagine a world where artistic integrity clashes with public expectation, forcing an icon to redefine themselves. This week, we continue exploring authenticity, but through the lens of someone who constantly reinvented his sound and image, sparking both adoration and controversy. You won't want to miss how one restless musician, armed with just a guitar and a harmonica, challenged a generation and forever changed the landscape of music. What can we learn from his ever-evolving identity? Stay tuned to find out. Please like, subscribe, and scan the QR code or follow the pinned link to get our free 7-day email course, the 7-Day Mental Fortitude Challenge. What if 7 days could make you bulletproof? Steal confidence strategies from warriors, rebels, and icons who turned panic into power. Click the video that just popped up to watch the next one in this series. Or for episode summaries, behind-the-scenes info, and more, go to daily8.com/BA. Thanks for watching.